got. So in my defense for Mike, why would I go out there throwing uppercuts at 58 years old when I know that that's just going to open me up for a shot that he may catch me with and end my night? Humiliation, embarrassment. Why would I do that?
It seems boxing might be taking a turn we all never wanted, and that's more of entertainment. After Mike Tyson's loss to Jake Paul, every pro had something to say to Jake Paul, from the lightweight division with the likes of Tank to the heavyweights like Tyson Fury and even the legends.
It's a tough fight to call right now because Jake has done so much better and gotten so much better. So these guys get into boxing and they take it serious. Jake has really gotten good.
However, it seems there are a lot of big names chasing a fight with Jake Paul. From Roy Jones, Daniel Dubois, Artur Beterbiev, well, the list is endless. So let's catch you up.
I'm gonna start like this. First of all, if you're a boxer and you're not taking note or notice of what Jake Paul is doing, you're worried about criticizing his boxing skills, then you're the fool because he made $40 million last year.
Nope. After Jake's dominant victory over Mike Tyson, Roy made it clear that he's ready to step into the ring with the young star. "I'd take the fight right now just to feel the thrill one more time," Roy said with confidence. His words came as a surprise to many, especially after witnessing Jake's performance against the legendary Tyson. But for Roy, this isn't just about the fight. It's about showing the world that he still has what it takes.
My knee was so far winning that, so the rest of it is all good, you know?
You showed really good movement, man.
Yeah, I got good movement. Still just getting old sucks, you know?
The fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul was one of the most talked about events in recent boxing history. Fans were divided before the match even began. Some believed that Tyson's experience and legendary power would be too much for Jake to handle. Others thought Jake's youth and energy would give him the upper hand. In the end, Jake proved the doubters wrong, dominating the 8-round contest and winning on points. Roy Jones Jr. was one of those who had been following this fight closely.
We cannot take away from how impactful this will be on boxing going forward. We can't take away from the fact that this fight will bring in viewers, eyes, numbers that we won't have seen.
He wasn't just a spectator, he was deeply invested in the fight. Having fought Tyson himself not too long ago, Roy knew exactly what the 58-year-old legend was capable of. "Mike still has that legendary power," Roy had said before the fight. "He hit me harder in my chest than anyone ever has in my whole career. That power is no joke." But on fight night, it became clear that Tyson's legs weren't what they used to be. He gave it his all, showing flashes of the brilliance that made him a boxing icon.
Right now.
So I like that, honestly, Jake Paul and the Paul brothers really they brought a lot of light on boxing, man. Like a lot of people have been ducking and things like that with all the different top rank in the zone.
However, Jake Paul was faster, more precise, and better conditioned. Jake landed clean punches and avoided Tyson's dangerous hooks, controlling the fight from start to finish. When the fight was over, Roy was thankful that Tyson wasn't knocked out. "Thank God Jake didn't knock him out," he said. "I'd have felt bad for Jake if he did. Andre Ward would have definitely gone after him for that, but everything worked out. Everybody's healthy, and now we can move on."
What up, y'all? Hey, we saw what happened tonight. Mike came out, gave it all he had. His legs, you could tell, weren't with him tonight, so it was a little bit difficult. But thank God Jake didn't knock him out, because I would have felt bad for Jake, because Andre Ward was definitely going to go out.
For Roy, Jake's performance was impressive, but he also sees it for what it is. Part of the business. Jake is just doing business, and that's okay, Roy said. He's building his career and giving the fans a show, but thank God he didn't knock Mike out. That would have been tough for everyone to see. Roy's reaction didn't stop there. When asked if he would take a fight against Jake Paul, he didn't hesitate. "I'd take it, no doubt," he said. "I can even take it right now, but I'd make sure that kid doesn't touch me. No way he's landing punches on me."
How about Canelo? You said Canelo this week.
Canelo needs me, so I'm not even going to try and call him out, but he knows he wants the payday, so he knows where the money man's at.
Roy's confidence is not misplaced. As a former world champion, he knows the art of boxing like few others. He's seen it all, from wars in the ring to dramatic moments outside of it. Watching Jake Paul rise in the boxing world is both exciting and intriguing for him. "Jake is doing a good job building himself up," Roy said. "But stepping in with someone like me is a whole different story."
Did you feel Mike's power at all?
No.
He hit you with one, and you gave him the tongue.
Only because the crowd, got turned up, but it didn't actually hurt. But, no one's punches have
The fight between Tyson and Jake Paul didn't just capture the attention of fans, it also sparked debates across the boxing world. Critics questioned whether it was ethical for a 58-year-old Tyson to fight someone 31 years younger. Others wondered what a win for Jake Paul would mean for his career and reputation. Roy had shared his thoughts before the fight, predicting that Tyson's approach would be the key factor. Mike could have gone out there to finish Jake early with a barrage of punches, Roy explained.
I think it's a great fight, great marketing situation as well, because so many people want to see it because of the young lion and the old lion, you know? So it's a great situation for them.
But he didn't have to do that. Instead, he tried to show Jake some boxing lessons in the ring. That's where Jake had a chance, and he took it. The fight's outcome didn't change Roy's respect for Tyson. If anything, it made him appreciate the effort even more. Now, the focus is shifting to Jake Paul's next move. Names like Canelo Alvarez and even the Pose in the heavyweight division are being mentioned as potential opponents. Roy isn't worried about Jake's future opponents, though. For him, the idea of stepping into the ring with Jake Paul is more personal. It's tempting, Roy admitted. These fighters know a fight with Jake Paul will give them a good payday. So if anyone is confident enough, he'll take the fight, and everyone is confident enough. And to be honest, that is the thing we've seen so far.
Big question that people are asking, would Canelo be the next fight finally? Would that happen?
If he's not a puta.
It's no doubt that Jake Paul's boxing career has taken an interesting turn, and it's becoming crystal clear. He's not just another social media sensation testing the waters of professional boxing. Instead, Jake has become a money magnet in the sport, a figure so big and profitable that even seasoned champions are eager to step into the ring with him. Whether it's heavyweight titans like Daniel Dubois or undisputed champions like Artur Beterbiev, Jake Paul's name is now on everyone's radar.
Daniel Dubois, the Englishman, is an underdog. How do you see his chances?
I think Usyk's gonna stop him later in the fight, 9th round.
Last 3 rounds. Straight. Oh.
Great shot! Right hand, great shot! Daniel Dubois down!
Earlier this week, Jake Paul stunned fans by sharing a private message from none other than Daniel Dubois, the reigning IBF heavyweight champion. Dubois, fresh off a knockout victory over Anthony Joshua in September, has made waves in boxing. While many expected Dubois to pursue a rematch with Joshua or another top-ranked heavyweight, the message he sent Jake Paul showed a different ambition. Dubois called out Jake, inviting him to a potential fight. What's more surprising, Jake didn't shy away from the challenge. Sharing the message on X, Jake hinted at accepting the call-out, writing that he plans to have his promoter, Nakisa Bedarian, meet with Dubois' promoter, Frank Warren. He even managed to take a jab at Artur Beterbiev, who had called him out earlier in the week. Jake Paul accepting a challenge from a heavyweight champion like Dubois is wild enough, but let's not forget the reality. For this fight to happen, Jake would need IBF approval to be considered a title contender. With his only heavyweight win being against 58-year-old Mike Tyson, that approval seems unlikely. Still, the fact that someone like Dubois would even entertain fighting Jake speaks volumes about the YouTuber's growing influence in the boxing world. And Dubois isn't the only one eyeing Jake Paul as a potential opponent. Light heavyweight superstar Artur Beterbiev has been vocal about wanting to face him. Beterbiev, an undisputed champion with a perfect 21-0 record, recently took to Instagram to address Jake directly.
Fine. Now, for Dubois, you can begrudge him because he obviously has a multi-million-pound rematch with Anthony Joshua lying in wait. Calling out Jake Paul, sliding into his DMs, looking desperate, it's beneath him. And if this fight somehow came to fruition, and God help me and help everybody else in the sport if it does come to fruition.
What can you do in the ring against the current undisputed champion? Beterbiev wrote. His tone wasn't mocking. It was almost respectful, but still challenging. He ended his message by stating that he was always open to suggestions. Jake Paul didn't let the call out slide. He responded on X with his signature mix of humor and confidence. Just seen this? Top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world calling me out? Haha, 4 years in and I run this sport. While the statement drew criticism from boxing purists, it also underscored a simple truth. Jake Paul has become a force to reckon with, whether fans like it or not. But Beterbiev wasn't done. He replied again, doubling down on his offer. After 4 years, it's time to have serious challenges. Didn't notice your acceptance or rejection. So what are we going to do? The exchange set social media on fire, with fans debating whether such a fight would ever happen, and what it would mean for boxing if it did. This isn't the first time Jake Paul has been in the middle of such discussions. Over the past week, other names like Gervonta Davis and Carl Froch have also joined the growing list of boxers calling Jake out. Gervonta "Tank" Davis, a dominant force at lightweight, mocked Jake during an interview, saying, "I'd fight him just to show the world he's nothing but hype." Carl Froch, the retired super middleweight champion, wasn't much kinder, labeling Jake's career a cash grab.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
But Jake has shown little interest in either matchup. Instead, he seems fixated on climbing higher, either in weight or in prestige. His recent win over Mike Tyson has only fueled his confidence. While critics dismiss the victory as a mismatch due to Tyson's age, Jake sees it as a stepping stone. He's using the attention from the Tyson fight to leverage bigger opportunities, and it's working.
Did you expect him to knock Mike Tyson out tonight?
I did, yeah. I thought, Mike's a little bit older. He had a problem. They had to push back the first fight because, he had like a stroke on a plane or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I was just scared. I didn't want.
One reason so many fighters are chasing a bout with Jake Paul is simple: money. Jake's fights bring in massive pay-per-view numbers, sponsorship deals, and endless media coverage. For a fighter like Dubois, who has already cemented his place in the heavyweight division, a fight with Jake would mean a massive payday and worldwide attention. Even for someone like Beterbiev, who has fought and beaten elite boxers, the allure of Jake's global audience is hard to ignore. And it's not just the money, it's the chance to prove a point. Jake Paul's rapid rise in boxing has divided the sports community. Some see him as a hard-working athlete who's earning his place. Others view him as an outsider exploiting boxing for fame. By fighting him, champions like Beterbiev or Dubois have the opportunity to silence the doubters and collect a big check while doing it. Jake, for his part, seems to enjoy the chaos. He thrives on the controversy and uses it to his advantage. His response to Beterbiev, calling himself the one who runs this sport, is classic Jake. Bold, brash, and designed to get under people's skin.
Now look, Tony, if these reports are right, that Daniel Dubois has offered Jake Paul a shot at the IBF heavyweight world title, well, could you see that fight happening? Could you see Jake Paul getting in the ring with Dubois?
Jeff, I mean, I know the boy's got a great imagination, but I don't know what planet he's on, mate. He's just got to be on Mars or somewhere like that to even think about something like that. I mean, listen, it couldn't be sanctioned anyway, that's first and foremost.
It's the same approach he used to build his following on YouTube, and it's proving just as effective in boxing. Still, the possibility of Jake facing someone like Dubois or Beterbiev anytime soon is slim. Dubois, a natural heavyweight, is leagues above Jake in terms of experience and skill. Beterbiev, meanwhile, is not only undefeated, but widely regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. A fight against either man would be a huge step up for Jake, and one that many believe he isn't ready for. And clearly, Jake will not be stepping in the ring with an old legend again, Roy Jones. But that doesn't mean the other fights won't happen eventually. Jake has shown time and again that he's willing to take risks. Whether it's fighting Anderson Silva, Nate Diaz, or even Mike Tyson, he's not afraid to step into the ring with big names. The question is whether he can keep winning and whether he can do it against the likes of Dubois or Beterbiev. For now, Jake Paul remains the most talked about figure in boxing. His ability to draw attention, generate revenue, and spark debate is unmatched. And as long as that continues, fighters from all weight classes will keep calling him out. And let's not forget that Jake Paul has a younger fan base. So naturally, as time goes by, we might see people paying more for these kinds of Jake Paul versus KSI fights compared to the classic Canelo versus GGG. And that's the sad reality.
How much do you think YouTube and these YouTubers and this YouTube boxing stuff has affected the sport of boxing?
I think it brought a lot of viewership to boxing.
I think a ton, man.
Yeah, I mean, look at you, probably 3 years ago, you weren't even probably even into boxing. None of you guys. Yeah, the way that the YouTubers have brought eyeballs to the sport of boxing, it's been good, to be honest. To me,
but it gets even more interesting from here. Ryan Garcia's name is now added to the growing list of professional fighters calling out Jake Paul. In a surprising post on X, the former interim lightweight champion hinted at a potential boxing match with the YouTuber turned fighter. Garcia's interest in facing Jake Paul marks another twist in a sport where traditional rivalries are being overshadowed by the lure of non-pro spectacle fights. The 26-year-old Garcia has been off the radar since his impressive showing against Devin Haney earlier this year. Despite being labeled the underdog going into that fight, Garcia managed to knock down Haney 3 times in a thrilling 12-round battle. It was a career-defining win, but the victory was short-lived.
You know, I tell you, you're gonna feel some feel you ain't felt.
Shortly after the fight, Garcia tested positive for a banned substance, leading to a 1-year suspension by the New York Athletic Commission. The result of his match against Haney was overturned to a no contest. With his reputation tarnished and his career paused, Ryan Garcia has spent much of the year keeping a low profile. That silence ended earlier when Garcia revealed his plans for the future. On X, he announced an upcoming exhibition match against Japanese kickboxer Rukia Anpo. While the fight would be a welcome return for fans, the real bombshell came when Garcia mentioned Jake Paul as a potential future opponent. Jake Paul's name carries a certain weight in boxing circles these days, but not necessarily for his skills in the ring. Fresh off his unanimous decision win against Mike Tyson, Paul has positioned himself as a polarizing figure, both a disruptor and a cash cow. While the pros criticize him for not earning his place in the sport, the numbers speak for themselves. Paul's fights consistently generate massive pay-per-view sales, drawing attention far beyond the typical boxing audience. Ryan Garcia clearly sees the appeal of a fight with Jake Paul, not just for the money, but also for the spectacle. The matchup would undoubtedly be a box office hit, pitting 2 social media savvy fighters with loyal fan bases against each other.
I can't do this shit. I feel so fucking bad for introducing Jake Paul to boxing.
I'm at the Paul Tyson fight. Right now, I don't know what to expect. I'm just here for the entertainment.
For Garcia, who has endured a challenging year, the opportunity to step into the ring with Paul could be a way to reclaim his spotlight while cashing in on the massive payday such a fight would bring. Interestingly, Jake Paul doesn't seem to be chasing these matchups. In fact, he's made it clear that he doesn't need to fight established boxers like Ryan Garcia or Gervonta Davis. "They need me," Jake Paul said in a recent interview. "Let's be real, they want the payday. I'm the one who's running this sport right now, and they're all lining up for a piece of the pie." Historically, professional fighters would climb the ranks, earning title shots through hard-fought victories. But today, the most lucrative fights aren't between 2 highly ranked pros, they're spectacle events involving influencers, retired legends, or celebrities. Jake Paul has been the face of this transformation, turning the traditional boxing model on its head.
I like Jake.
You think he's doing a good job?
Yes.
What do you think about the Tyson fight that he just announced?
That's awesome. Fuck yeah, dude. Try to fight Tyson. If he knocks you out, but at least you fought Tyson. That's cool.
For Ryan Garcia, whose suspension has already sidelined him from mainstream boxing for a year, targeting Jake Paul might feel like a logical next step. But Jake Paul's trajectory isn't limited to boxing. He's already shown interest in stepping into the world of mixed martial arts, with plans to debut in the Professional Fighters League next year. Even before his fight with Mike Tyson, Jake Paul had made headlines by challenging former UFC champion Conor McGregor. However, with McGregor still under contract with the UFC and Jake focused on building his MMA career, that fight remains unlikely for now. Despite these MMA aspirations, Jake hasn't ruled out more boxing matches. And the interest from established pros like Garcia, Beterbiev, and Dubois proves one thing: Jake Paul is in control. Whether it's his choice of opponents or the terms of the fight, he calls the shots. This dynamic frustrates many in the boxing world, particularly purists who see Jake Paul as an outsider profiting off the sport without earning his stripes. But for fighters like Ryan Garcia, the financial incentives are hard to ignore. Garcia's post on X all but confirmed his desire to cash in on the spectacle-driven trend Jake Paul has popularized.
But at the end of the day, 450,000 people, or 1 million people, or whatever it was, who would not have watched the sport of boxing, quite literally, it's a fact, turned it on because Logan Paul's fight. And by the way, I know the numbers, I probably can't say them, but a good chunk of those people didn't stop.
After all, Garcia's career is at a crossroads. Following his suspension, he faces a long road back to legitimacy in the sport. A fight with Jake Paul could offer an immediate boost, both financially and in terms of visibility. Even if the fight doesn't happen, just mentioning Jake's name generates some talk, a clear sign of the YouTuber's influence in the sport. What's fascinating is how Jake Paul has shifted the boxing landscape so dramatically. His fights with Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, and most recently Mike Tyson have blurred the lines between entertainment and competition.
Ryan Garcia. He said, "I'm tired of this. I'm stopping this shit, and it's my fault I started his boxing career. I should have never."
You should have got up off the floor when you got hit with a widow body shot, buddy.
Damn.
You fucking little pussy. Hey, why not just call him?
You give him a call.
What's up? What you gotta say? Fuck you, bitch. I'll beat your ass. You know that. It's already being recorded, bro. You know how we do it. No balls. No balls.
His fights might not always deliver technical brilliance, but they deliver something even more valuable in today's sports world: attention. And that's why fighters are lining up to face him. Whether it's an undisputed champion like Artur Beterbiev, a heavyweight powerhouse like Daniel Dubois, a legend like Roy Jones, or a young star like Ryan Garcia, they all see Jake Paul as the ticket to a massive payday and a global spotlight. But what do you think would happen when all these fights actually happen? And what do you think of Jake's influence in the sport? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.